Learn the latest update about a man accused of recording women on college campuses without their consent.
And find out UCF how students are helping NASA return to the moon.
In sports, see how UCF football is planning to bounce back after a heartbreaking loss. Nightly News starts now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Grant Wheeler.
And I'm Jeff Laux. And today is Friday, September 16th, 2022. September is National Sexual Health Awareness Month. Many enter college underinformed about sexual health, which can lead to a series of unintended consequences. An NYU health study states that it's very common for students to enter college without adequate sexual health education. The CDC reports that the average American starts having sex between the ages of 18 and 24. UCF biomedical sciences student Raya Maria shares where she and her peers, like many, got educated on sexual health for the first time.
We didn't have that traditional sex ed course. And during puberty time, which is definitely middle school, people are curious. So who do we turn to? We turn to Google and other search engines.
Students interested in utilizing on-campus resources can visit Wellness and Health Promotion Services for free HIV testing and risk reduction counseling. Wellness and Health Promotion Services' next free HIV testing event will be held in RWC Room 111 from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on September 29th.
A $5 million donation from the Ginsberg Family Foundation is the reason UCF Mass is rebranding. Multicultural Academic and Support Services is now known under a new name, the Ginsberg Center and Inclusion for Community Engagement. The new Ginsberg Center will serve UCF students, faculty, and staff, and members of our community and create a more inclusive and advanced support service.
UCF is in the headlines this week after jumping 3 spots in the public university rankings. Monday's U.S. News & World Report's 2023 Best College Rankings show UCF is now ranked the 64th best public school in the country. With both public and private universities included, UCF ranks 137 out of 443 nationally, putting them in the 13th percentile. Sarah Ward is a senior at Lyman High School, and she says UCF's rank is impressive based on other Florida schools.
Because other public Florida universities have been around longer, such as UF or FSU. So to see that it's always trying to achieve greatness, and we can see that through the jump in the rankings, it's very impressive.
Ward also says UCF and Florida are her top choices to attend school next fall. To see the rankings more in depth, visit U.S. News & World Report's website.
This week marks National Arts and Education Week. It ends on the 17th, but before then, students are receiving hands-on advice from local musicians. Last night, students from the Department of Music took time to appreciate a special performance followed by an open discussion on artistry. Jesse Cook is the Assistant Director of Trumpets at UCF. He says organizing events like this allows students to explore their musical boundaries in ways they otherwise wouldn't.
They get to see what's possible. They get to see a world-class artist like Rob, and they get to imagine themselves in Rob's shoes in 50 years.
Students gathered after the performance to ask Smith questions regarding his career and how he got there. Musicians like Rob and Smith are advising those aspiring artists to not be too hard on themselves in order to maintain their passion. In state news, a man is refusing to admit guilt to 9 cases of voyeurism after secretly recording women at multiple universities. DeAndre Mason is facing charges after taking videos of people in campus bathroom stalls and dorm showers. His most recent crime took place at the University of Florida, but at the end of last year, Mason did the same thing here at UCF. Mason is set for trial on October 10th in Orlando.
The Tampa Bay Rays made history last night on Roberto Clemente Day. The Rays' starting lineup was all Hispanic players during the first day of Hispanic Heritage Month. Clemente is a Puerto Rican MLB legend who would give back to Central America during his career. To honor Clemente on Thursday, every player on the Rays wore number 21, which was his number during his 18-year career. The Rays defeated the Toronto Blue Jays 11-0 in a pivotal division matchup.
With inflation at an all-time high, food prices saw their biggest 12-month increase since March of 1979. With this increase, college students are struggling to pay for groceries. Nightly News reporter Kayla Lewis tells us more about this increase and what resources UCF is offering.
Many college students already struggle to pay their bills, and with the constant increase in food prices, they have another obstacle to overcome. This obstacle comes in the form of groceries. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, you will notice that in just the past year, eggs have gone up in price by 82.3%, ground beef has gone up by 10.5%, and produce has gone up by 9%. Nutrition and Wellness Coordinator Megan Case wants students to know that there are a variety of resources available on campus and are free with tuition.
Where our cooking class is free, student care services is free, Nights Helping Nights Pantry is free, so all of these services are free to students. And so my advice would be is to use those services while you're here. Learn the skills that we teach in some of these places to help your dollar spread after you graduate.
Wellness and Health Promotion Services also provides pre-prepared snacks at the Fresh U Market on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
With food prices increasing just 12.2% this year and constantly being on the rise with no decrease in sight, college students are struggling to afford groceries.
UCF senior Augustina Bagali has come up with a solution to help her on her grocery store runs.
I try to be more conscious of what I buy, and if I find something that's in stock and at a decent price, I stock up a little bit more than what I would have done in the past.
Bagali says she now takes more time to learn how to budget both her money and time as a result of these high prices.
This has also kind of impacted my time management, I guess, because I spend a little more time in the grocery store making sure that I'm getting the right things, maybe stocking up, and so making the time to maybe find the best deals.
Wellness and Health Promotion Services holds cooking classes twice a month. In Orlando, Kayla Lewis, UCF Nightly News.
The demand for food isn't flexible. UCF encourages students to take advantage of campus offers.
NASA's Artemis 1 mission is the first step to getting humans back on the moon, and UCF students and faculty played a huge role. Nightly News reporter Alengro Montesano tells us how some nights are reaching for the stars.
It's the name we've been hearing for weeks on end now. Artemis. Named after the Greek goddess that represents female independence, her 2025 mission is going to send the first woman to the moon. The U.S. hasn't put anyone on the moon since Apollo, so the Artemis missions are monumental. NASA recruited the help of UCF students, faculty, and alumni alike.
For me, it feels like I'm living a dream.
Perla La Torre Suarez is an aerospace engineering major in the second year of her master's degree at UCF. She was brought on board to help create a crucial element of the Artemis mission.
But I worked on a ceramic coating to protect the structures from the lunar dust, because the lunar dust has a lot of minerals that can affect the integrity of it.
NASA says that 30 UCF students, faculty, and alumni are working on the Artemis 1 mission. Not to mention, 30% of Kennedy Space Center employees are UCF graduates.
Dr. Phil Metzger is a planetary scientist at the Florida Space Institute at UCF. Metzger says UCF Knights made giant leaps for Artemis and beyond.
We have planetary scientists who are working on the geology of the moon and developing technologies and approaches for studying how the moon formed and the history of the solar system, which we can infer from lunar geology.
Metzger says UCF is in the perfect place. After all, it's been named America's Space University since 1963. In Orlando, Allegro Montesano, UCF Nightly News.
The next possible launch window for Artemis is set for September 27th. And if that doesn't work out, a backup date has been set for October 2nd.
Hey Erica, it's been raining all week. Give us some good news.
Well, it's looking like a rainy day out there, Grant and Jeff. We're expecting thunderstorms this afternoon with a 70% chance of rain that will continue into the night. We'll have a high of 86 degrees and a low of 73 degrees as we move toward the evening. There's going to be a wind speed of 5 miles per hour coming from the northeast this afternoon. And humidity will be at 94% thanks to all the rain we've been getting the past couple of days. Make sure to bring an umbrella because we're looking at a stormy afternoon with hurricane season still in full swing. Later in the show, I will tell you what to expect for this week's weather. Jeff and Grant, back to you.
After the break, we will we will get an inside look at a new art gallery opening here at UCF that celebrates art from the American South.
Plus, an update on Queen Elizabeth II's funeral arrangements in England.
The South Arts Southern Prize and State Fellows exhibition is now open at UCF's Art Gallery. Nightly News reporter Mia Striegel spoke to the gallery's director, who explains why exhibitions like this one are important to have on campus.
The big benefit not only to the students, faculty, and staff here at UCF, but also the greater community to get us connected to artists that are not local.
UCF has 3 to 4 exhibitions a semester. According to UCF's Art Gallery website, the South Arts, Southern Prize, and State Fellows Project supports some of the best contemporary art in the American South. This exhibition shows the work of the 9 2021 fellowship recipients. UCF was the last stop for the traveling 2021 exhibition and the only venue in Florida to be invited.
Very excited to have it here, and we're doubly excited because the overall winner for the Southern Prize in 2021 was the Florida-based artist.
The Southern Prize winner is Marielle Placier, and her work is hanging in the art gallery. Her work consisted of fabrics, painting, engraving, and embroidery.
I'm outside the Visual Arts building on UCF's main campus. The gallery is located inside and is open 10 to 5 Monday through Friday. Admission to the exhibition is free and will be open through October 28th.
Junior Abby Okarski shares what she likes about the art gallery.
Having these exhibits on campus I think are super important for students to go immerse themselves and get involved, and I guess see what other students and what other artists are up to, and it being free, I think that's very inviting for students to go.
Students can view artwork from 9 state fellows who come from throughout the southeastern United States. In Orlando, Mia Striegel, UCF Nightly News.
Even if you missed the showing, the UCF Art Gallery will post a virtual exhibition that you can view on their website. You can visit UCF's Art Gallery website to join the email list to hear about any upcoming events.
Queen Elizabeth II is now lying in rest at Westminster Hall in London. This follows days of funeral arrangements, including a massive procession from Buckingham Palace to the Hall. Thousands flocked to the streets of London to pay their respects to the monarch. The National Day of Mourning for the Queen is September 19th. The day of her funeral service, her coffin will be transported from Westminster Hall to Abbey, then to St. George's Chapel, where she will be lowered into the royal vault. She will be buried with her late husband, Prince Philip. After the break, we are here with an update on hurricane season and the newest tropical storm, Fiona. We will also be giving us some tips on staying safe in the event of that dangerous weather. We'll be here for a full weather update, including the dropping temperatures and falling rain. And we will also be letting you know whether the humidity will be sticking around. Welcome back to Nightly News. We are continuing to face stormy skies as we navigate the last couple months of hurricane season. Although this season does not end until November, the peak of it was last Saturday. Here's Emily McMinn with a hurricane update.
Hurricane season is well underway here in Central Florida. Over the past few weeks, we've experienced rain from Hurricanes Danielle and Earl. These storms may be far from over because hurricane season lasts until November 30th. The National Hurricane Center says Tropical Depression 7 began forming in the Atlantic Ocean. As of late Wednesday night, the storm grew more powerful and became a tropical storm called Fiona. A tropical storm watch is now in place for the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico as the storm gets closer. That's why I reached out to UCF's Emergency Operations Center to get some tips on how students can prepare. Matt Raw says the university is prepared if a large storm hits UCF's campus.
So we have an overall hurricane plan for the university that includes a hurricane timeline and checklist, just stuff that the university as a whole would be doing at different time increments.
Students who live in dorms or residence halls on campus are especially vulnerable. This could pose an even bigger problem for those who are from places further away from the university. UCF freshman Erica Brandt lives in the Neptune community on campus and says if a hurricane were to hit the campus, she may be unprepared.
Well, I know in my dorm there's like an evacuation plan or like plans on how to prevent disasters in general, but no, nobody has explained me.
As we experience thunderstorms over the next several days, be sure to keep up to date with the weather during hurricane season. Raw in UCF's Emergency Operations Center has some recommendations for students when they see that a tropical storm or hurricane may be headed our way.
So we recommend that if students have the ability to go somewhere else, to go somewhere else. The locations on campus to ride out a storm aren't the most glamorous or the most comfortable. So if there is the opportunity to, go stay with a family, a friend somewhere else out of harm's way, we recommend that.
As we continue to navigate this stormy season, UCF's Emergency Operations Center will be keeping a close eye on the potentially harmful weather and keeping students informed. In Orlando, Emily McMinn, UCF Nightly News. Nightly News will be keeping up to date on forming storms and potentially harmful weather, and will inform you of exactly what you should be expecting. The National Hurricane Center says Tropical Storm Fiona is moving west, and the winds, rain, and waves will begin by tonight. The storm is currently about 265 miles away from the Leeward Islands. Some tips on how to be prepared if a hurricane were to hit the UCF area include having food and water on hand, having items such as bikes, furniture, and grills inside, covering up your doors and windows, and having plenty of gas in your car's tank. Should a hurricane hit campus, the hideout locations include the gymnasium and the education complex. For more information on what to expect for Florida's weather over the next few days and just how important those umbrellas may be, here's Erica Brockish.
Thanks, Emily. Let's take a look at our weather, starting with our highs. We're going to be in the 80s throughout the day. In Central Florida, we're going to be 85 and 86 here in Orlando. Up in North Florida, 88 and 86 in Tallahassee and Jacksonville, and 86 down in Miami. Let's take a look at our lows. We're going to be staying pretty cool up in North Florida with a 70 degrees in Tallahassee and 73 in Jacksonville. We're going to be staying pretty steady here in the Central Florida with 72 in Tampa and 73 here in Orlando, and actually pretty warm in Miami with 78 degrees. Let's take a look at our rain percentages. Not much rain up in North Florida with a 15% chance of rain in Tallahassee and 25 in Jacksonville. We're going to be getting quite a bit of rain here in Central Florida with a 70% chance of rain in Tampa and 90 in Orlando and a 50% chance of rain in Miami. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast real fast. Throughout the week, we're going to be seeing 80s as our high, except on Wednesday, we're going to see a high of 90, and we're going to stay pretty steady with 70 degrees, 72, 73 Saturday through Monday, 73 as well on Tuesday, and 74 on Wednesday. The rain will continue with 70% Saturday and through Monday, and 55 on Tuesday, and 30 on Wednesday. That's all we have for weather. Nightly News will be right back.
Good afternoon, Night Nation. I'm Kyle DeWitt, and this is your weekly UCF Sports Update. The club softball team at UCF is concerned about the safety of their players due to poor field maintenance. Nightly News reporter Erica Brockish shares how the team is pushing through these rough conditions.
I have had to let up a little bit because I'm worried about the girls being scared, creating bad habits, or just getting injured.
Senior club softball president Maddie Pena is entering her 4th season on the team. Every year, Pena says the condition of the softball field is the same.
It has been a really big issue that we have brought to the sport club director multiple times, and anyone really that we can, our supervisors as well, saying that we would like the field to be drugged because it is a safety hazard for our girls.
Players on the club softball and club baseball team take ground balls each practice with balls such as this and run the risk of injury.
Pena says that the condition of the field affects the way the team practices. She says girls can create bad habits when it comes to taking ground balls because they're scared about getting hit due to how hard the field is. The team has submitted multiple requests to the Sport Club Council to water and drag the field, but have yet to see any improvements.
They have promised us that they're going to try. We haven't really seen too much of a difference, but they said they're on it.
In an email, Shane Land, Assistant Director of the RWC, who is responsible for the fields, states, "Our maintenance team drags the field 3 times weekly. We haven't received any requests about improving maintenance." Sport Club Supervisor Pablo Torres, who oversees the club softball team, says there is only so much sport clubs can do.
As far as we can do, I mean, we're student positions, so the only thing we can do is delegate that feedback to our superiors, and then after that, there's just so much we can push.
So far, there are no plans to improve field conditions. In Orlando, Erica Brockish, UCF Nightly News.
Land says he plans to work with the maintenance crew about removing weeds and filling in uneven areas of the field. After a loss to the Louisville Cardinals, the UCF football team is looking to bounce back versus the Florida Atlantic Owls. I will tell you why Coach Malzahn thinks this is not the end of the season for the Knights.
It's not the end of the world as far as our season goes, but it feels like crap right now.
The UCF football team took a heartbreaking loss to the Louisville Cardinals 20-14 last Friday night and are now 1-1 this season. After 2 quick touchdowns by the Knights in the first half to go up 14-7, UCF did not score another point. It's the first time since 2018 that the Knights did not score a point in the second half. 2 holding penalties cost the Knights 2 long touchdowns that would have sealed a Knights victory. Head coach Gus Malzahn claims that the penalties are his fault and correcting them is the team's main priority this week.
Well, that's on me. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I mean, we got an undisciplined team right now. We have 11 penalties for 111 yards. I got to do a better job, obviously. I mean, that's not acceptable, and we got to correct that.
The Knights are hard at work here at the practice field and at the Nicholson Fieldhouse to make sure that they correct their mistakes to prepare for Saturday's matchup against Florida Atlantic on the road. The Florida Atlantic Owls are 1-1 headed into Saturday's game. The Owls are led by senior quarterback Nicholson Perry, who transferred from Miami 2 years ago. Florida Atlantic currently ranks 9th in the nation in total yards with over 1,500 yards in 2 games. UCF tight end Alec Haller says that UCF has passed the loss last week and is focusing on the road test versus the Owls.
24-hour rule. We're past this game. We're moving on to FAU. We're focused on winning the next game and not allowing one game to affect the rest of our season.
The Knights look to rebound this week before another ACC matchup with Georgia Tech next week. In Orlando, Kyle DeWitt, UCF Nightly News. That's our time for right now. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back next week.